Hello again, everybody. Thetymix here. Welcome back to Let's Play Motorsport Manager. Head start for Hawkins Race 7. As I do believe we've essentially got this locked up strategically with one possible fly in the ointment. And that's the continued decline of our financial situation. I'm going to need to find a way to... basically, it could get low enough that we go bankrupt or whatever. I don't know what that line is. So, that's really the only thing that can knock us off that I can see at the moment. Otherwise, we've got a little over 2.5 weeks till Cape Town, where we're going to want the gearbox, the brakes, and the front wings at their optimal capacity. And let's get to that. Just over a day there. JTV Sport having the question. Has to go down as dream weekend for you. What was the secret? This team is excellent. Okay, so a not all that dramatic race, actually. Diaz won it easily. Let's look at boosting our parts. You can see we're, all of these, we're getting lower and lower, but it's far enough into the season and our lead is big enough that, frankly, it just doesn't matter that much. Pull off the suspensions and go to some front wing work. And these are going to be finished before the race. So we're going to have to watch these closely and then switch on to other parts. So that would indicate that we're probably getting fairly close to the end of this. So what are we going to want to go to next? Looks like the end. Okay, yeah, the exact opposite three parts are crucial in the next race. So it doesn't really matter where we go. Okay, so we're looking at sunny for the race, no rain. Let's get moving here. So I want to stop every few days and see where we're at. And it looks like this is maxed. So let's pull that one out. Oh, but it says it can still improve a little, so it just doesn't, like, it's a fraction of a point. Because it would be blank like that otherwise. Okay. I've heard a few rumblings from the mechanics. They're not very happy working in the factory. They do have quite long hours. What should I tell them? Give them all a bonus? 500K, or tell them to deal with it? Yeah, I'm going to have to tell them to deal with it. There's nothing else for it. And I think that's going to spike our fuel economy bonus that Diaz has. But frankly, it wasn't making that huge of a difference anyway. Okay. Yeah, it's just spreading out the improvements to the other parts, it looks like. It didn't stop. I wanted to stop on that. Okay. Okay, Hawkins is telling us how good we are at doing first. Staff is idle. The ride handling facility, improving the suspension, Anna Roth think that's important. It is, and we can't afford it. Cape Town, 64 laps, 2.3 miles, so fairly short. Favors acceleration. We've still got the best gearbox and softer tires, even though it's an abrasive track. So that's interesting. 64 laps there. So it's going to be a long race in terms of number of laps. Alright, so we were going to put the other three in. And we're just barely going to finish this before the race. So we're going to have everything as maxed out as it can be. Worried about the money. Yes, we know. And Anna Ross saying we're going to extend the lead. I would agree with that. Diaz saying there's plenty of time to catch Harrison. You're tied, so there's not a whole lot of catch. And Wolfgang Schmidt hoping to have a big race. Not really a whole lot new there. Yep, and everybody's idle. There's, sorry Simone, there's nothing else we can do. We have completed everything we can do to improve the car. Now, I think the last time in Munich, you can see we didn't actually make the qualifying bonus. However, I think that was probably a fluke. Perhaps not. But if we look at our car, we're still number 1 in acceleration, number 2 in deceleration. We're only 6th in the low speed corner, so that's a concern. But I'm going to say we're probably good enough that I want to stick with the higher level sponsor bonus. May not be able to do that later, but I want to do it for this race. See, 9th or above, not a huge difference in funding, so we may need to go to that. And see, it's going to be cold, 15 and then 12 both of those days. So, I think we may be running super softs during the race. We'll see. I think that's how I want to run it. Because I may need any of these, but that should be enough to get us through whatever we go with. I'm probably also going to be able to work up the trim, the bonus for all 3 tires, given how short of a track it is. I think I've at least got a shot at that. Diaz projected 3rd. And Harrison projected 2nd. This is the first race we are not projected to win. Let's go show them how wrong they are about that. Okay, let's roll on with that and get set up here. Both drivers wanting to start with Ultras. Pretty similar targets, actually, in terms of setup. Go a little bit lower on the downforce here. Try that out. And we're off to practice in Cape Town. Now, I want to remember that it's going out at 15% today, or 15 degrees rather, excuse me. Looks like it's going to stay pretty steady at that. And it's going to be actually a higher than that, or lower than that rather, 3 degrees lower. So whatever tire temps we hit here are going to be reduced for qualifying. And I have a feeling super softs are probably going to be the ones that hit the sweet spot. Oh boy, and I didn't even check what stint my drivers are on. It looks like they're both on qualifying. So that was a mistake to not even look at that. Looking good so far. You can see just there's these little winding turns. They're not so much sharp ones. They're just winding here, winding there. You can see just over a minute. We've already hit our qualifying trim. Less than 2.5 minutes in. The first, well, not the full one, just the level 1, but. And we're coming in even with nobody having anything to complain about. So that's not expected. But yeah, we're going to get around this track quickly. So not the greatest setup either to begin with. I mean, not terrible by any stretch. Oh, 89. Okay. Well, I was definitely wrong about that. It didn't. The scores didn't look that great, but it is what it is. Okay, so they didn't say which way to go on downforce. So let me just check out. Now, I had her set a little bit lower, and she said poor. So let me go higher then here. Let's try that. 7.5. And then, yeah. Just see if those make any significant adjustments. Let's go ahead and max qualifying. That should be enough to get us to our qualifying trim if I set one at 3 and the other at 2. So you go ahead and get out there. Now let's see what we have here. We'll try sitting you at the same downforce, 7.5. I said 7.5. There we go. And you had a little bit worse on this stuff. I'm thinking you probably are going to want more oversteer. Yeah, let's just try that for now. 2 laps. Same tires. Going to get a little bit warmer for just a bit. That's about it. Level 2 qualifying and ultras. And you can see even at 15 degrees now, and it's going to be cooler during the race, the ultra is really not heating up. So we may just be going, yeah, we may just be going on ultras the whole race. Everybody happy with the changes so far? Yeah, if anything, yeah, the tire temperature is actually trending slightly down. So let's make sure Harrison comes in as well as Diaz, even though he doesn't really need to yet because we've hit our bonuses there. So I think we'll hit level 3 for this, level 3 for the super softs and the race trim, and then we won't. Okay, you need to change Diaz's handling the other way. We won't hit it on the softs, but I don't think we're going to want to use softs. 93%. So that's good, but we want to be better than that. I think a little bit higher downforce. And let's try tweaking this a little more towards understeer. Go there, and we're going to want to go race trim for 4 laps on super softs, both cars. Now your handling is hideous, it says. Let's definitely change that. Yeah, you went down to 72. Let's correct that. And acceleration is poor. So this was okay, and that was good, and we went the wrong direction. So we want handling up. Really, both of these right up at about that line. And this was poor. I only want to tweak that a little bit. Okay. Something like that. And then again, tweak the handling to 7.8. See if that's where we want to be. Now I may end up wanting these up even more, but let's try that for now. Race trim, super softs. First and fifth as we approach the halfway point of practice. Of course, we went on ultras. A lot of the others didn't. A lot of cars going out on softs right now, and I think, again, that's a situation where they're going to regret it because we don't have that kind of, temperature here. Temperature's only going to get worse. Diaz liking the handling better, which is good. Hopefully we get her back, get her up into the 90s and get close on that setup, as we're already pretty close on Harrison. Of course, Diaz driving much better. Harrison having a subpar, not horrible, but subpar practice session. Happy with his downforce. Diaz doing pretty good. This is going to be an interesting race as Harrison drops to 6th now. In terms of just the pace of it, because there's the constant little turns, never getting up to full speed, but also the number of laps and how quickly you get around them. We've been dealing with 3-lap tracks more than, or 3-mile tracks more than 2-mile tracks lately. And so this is just, it's a quick one. And I was so busy blathering on about that, I did not even notice what Diaz said. So I lost that little bit of input. If she was complaining about something, I won't be able to fix it till she comes in next time. So that's unfortunate. Unless she says something about it again. Always a good idea to listen to your drivers. Harrison pretty happy. We move past level 2. Diaz happy about the arrow. And Harrison just dropping even more, so he's just not having himself a good day. He's set to come in. And now Diaz is going to come in. I'm probably not going to quite make it to level 3 here before they do that. Well, maybe we will. Yeah, looks like we are going to make it. Just want to switch to soft tires now for both drivers. Since it's the only thing left. Seem to have made this worse. Well, 93%. Okay, so the downforce was okay there. And great there. And good here. So I want downforce down a little bit. Just the slightest tweak down on acceleration. Well, I think I want to try going lower a little further on the handling. Just to try to, because everything has been great so far. I haven't been able to get that up. Okay, so let's go down to 27.2 on the downforce. So I'll go down to 0.1, that'll be fine. And going the other direction. There we go. I just want to try to make sure, like, filling in this little gap here, because I'd gone over a little bit further. Make sure that's not the right spot. And then if it's not, then push it further up to oversteer. So I'm going to try this. Race trim, 4 laps, soft. And then, okay, much, much better for Diaz. 96%. Which would be tolerable, but let's get the handling closer. Okay. Very poor, great. I'm thinking we want to go up a little more. But not quite that far. So let's try that. And of course, soft tires. And you'll get out first this time on the quick change. Harrison down to 10th. But Diaz still having the best times of the day. And it was set very early. See how these softs do in 15-degree weather. Of course, the temperature going to dive on those. Is how that's going to work out. And we'll see how far we get on those, but I don't really want to get, you know, I know I'm not going to want to use softs, so I'm just going just over a lap, and I want to bring in for tweaks. That's the only thing that matters right now, is getting everything tweaked in where we want it to be so we can start qualifying ready to go. And the other thing is about qualifying is we're going to be able to run a bunch of laps, but I don't think I'm really going to want to because of, you know, I didn't bring a huge amount of ultra soft tires. So I think you know, having it do over again, I'd bring more. Okay, well, here's Diaz sitting at 98%, excellent on all three. So yeah, just go out there again, I guess. See what you can get on the softs just for the fun of it. Excellent on all three. Both at 98%. I mean, obviously I'd rather have 99 or 100, but when they're at excellent, I'm not going to try to tweak it any further. So just go back out. Get whatever you can give me as Harrison drops to 12th. That won't make the fans happy, or him for that matter. And there's Wexler taking the fastest lap on Ultras. As the track not picking up grip particularly quickly today. Still barely into the medium range, like just over a third or something. And looks like we're going to be at level 1 on the softs. Which is fine. All right. So yeah, Wexler went about 0.3 seconds faster. Wexler and then Diaz in North in that next group. A full second behind otherwise. So Chapman finishing 4th. And Dieter Wexler says, I wish they gave out point for practice. Oh, that's a nice little comment, I think. On to qualifying. See if we can break out of what happened last time we finished in the top 2. Ultras and qualifying, naturally going to be where we go. Okay, so it's a 64-lap race. Now, if we used all ultras, we wouldn't be able to get around on 3. We would need 4 of them. And that puts us into a bit of a bind here. But you know, the Super Softs are a lot more durable and just a little bit slower. So I think I'm going to be okay with doing a few rounds on Ultras and then just go with Super Softs during the race. Like, I would probably prefer to do Ultras during the race, maybe. But I don't think it's going to hurt us that much. So, you know, if I had to do it over again, I'd only pick 1 soft for each car. And probably put most of those extras into Ultras. Have like 8 or so Ultras. But I don't. We are where we are. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do a bunch of qualifying. And the reason that I need to do that is right now, frankly, I don't even care that much where I finish in the race. Which sounds dumb. But, I mean, this is a game about racing. But the finances are the thing. So I've got to give myself every possible chance to get, you know, a low time. And get in that top 2. So I'm not going to wait any longer than I need to. We're just going to go out, come back in, go out, come back in. We're going to hit as many of these as we can. And there's perfect and well overheated. Okay, so we're running Harrison not running well, Diaz is. Diaz definitely my best shot at it, I would think. And the main question here is, will we see times under a minute? And I think we may very well do that by the end of the day. Weather cold, gonna stay that way. .101.6. Diaz looking very strong to break that. Probably not under a minute. Yep, 101.2. Okay, so I think we're going to have to be like less than 101. I think is probably going to be the winning time here. I think what we're going to do is we're going to go, I think we're going to get 4 of these in. If not, we're going to be close to it. That would leave us just the 1 set of fresh Ultras to start the race on. We'll see when we come in from the 3rd effort just how close we are to that. Want to make sure that we're sending everybody out immediately. And after the first round of qualifying, the first set, nobody beat our times, which is great. Didn't really expect that. But Diaz first and Harrison second, even though Diaz was fighting with some traffic. So we're looking very, very good at the moment. We want to keep trying to set lower times, as will become more and more likely that we get beat as the day goes on, with the track gradually getting faster. I think the lower heat also contributes to the grip getting laid down less. But no change in weather. And Harrison again fighting traffic, unfortunately. Yep, I'm not happy with that as he was off the pace, although it was faster than his first try. Diaz having just a miserable run here. Yeah, almost a full second off her first lap, so that was not impressive. We're going to have at least one more shot at it, and possibly two. Look at Harrison at 3.4. Boy, he is just... Roger Harrison is just not having himself a good weekend. Diaz racing strong, despite the evidence from that last lap. Roger Harrison, ugly. Which means I probably should have sent him out second and Diaz first, but... two more attempts. Hopefully. And here comes Diaz down pit row. And what it looks to me like is going to happen is that I will get Harrison out for a fourth try, but probably not Diaz. That could change. But that's just what it looks like at the moment. Having no trouble hitting the line on the temps, and nobody getting closer to our times yet. Now there's still 4 minutes left, but I'm feeling very good about our chances in this qualifying because just under half a second is Wexler's gap to us. So we got a couple good times at first. We just kept it up. Now Harrison is improving, still not good. But he is improving. Up into the mid-4s. And yeah, Diaz not running well either, so it's like she hit that first segment and then hasn't been able to repeat that performance. And Harrison not happy with that showing. Yeah. Diaz, again, almost a full second behind. Yeah, I think I can get Harrison out there just in time, and I think Diaz isn't going to make it. Yep. Yeah, I don't see any way that I get her around in time, so I'm not even going to bother sending her. Let her keep that other set of ultras. But I will give Harrison this second shot at it. Let's go right along with him. You see the track grip again, barely up to medium. It is just... it's cold. Don't know what else to say about it. It is cold. And Harrison crossing the line, 17 seconds. Diaz would not have made it. That was the right call. And we're just making sure we give ourselves every chance, even though it doesn't look like... yeah, and there the qualifying session ends. So we just hit that mark on and Harrison with a nice first segment, not that far off the lead, but then running into traffic here. That could very well slow him down for... no, best second sector. Harrison with a shot now at the pole. And he got it. 101.1. So, yeah, we are both drivers nearly half a second ahead of the rest of the field. Not only did we do well in qualifying, but we drilled it. I think part of that is this track is better for our cars, and also part of it is just we spent more time on ultras in practice than they did. So I think you combine those two and you get this result. But obviously very happy with that, getting our sponsor bonus, and we'll definitely be sticking, I think, with the number 2 qualifying. Surikov having a terrible day. Wexler, happy with his qualifying, needs to convert it into a win. Well, not unless you race better than that, because we're feeling pretty good about things. It's going to be a contest between Harrison and Diaz up front. So we could, I mean, hopefully, if let's get a bad start, we just storm away from the field here. So, do we want ultras or supers? You always want to get off to a good start, but we are going to run most of the race on supers. Still, you know, it's a tough call, I think, in this situation. But I'm going to go with, you know, the race trim, and I'm going to go with the supers for Harrison, because he's only going to have the one set on the ultras. And then I'll go with the fuel economy and the race trim for her, even though I don't really need to. And I do want to drop off, as I mentioned the other day, just drop off one more lap of fuel for each. So we're going to stay where we are, and 64 laps. So we'd normally be looking at 43. Well, probably up 45. We'll go to 44. Because 2/3 would be 43, and then plus 2 would 45. We'll drop down to 44 for Harrison, and then we'll go with 42 on Diaz. I just want to start tightening up that fuel situation to give us more speed. But not too much. Don't want to be running out either. And of course we'll only fry everything as much as we need to. So Harrison not looking great. Diaz driving better. I have a feeling Diaz probably goes to the lead and wins this, but we'll see. Wexler behind, not great. Then we've got Oliveira, Holtz in 5th, and the others. Oh, well, only Schmidt is on softs. We've got a lot of drivers around the 6 mark. Lippinen there down in 10th at 7. So a lot of drivers looking to have a pretty good day, at least solid, you would call that. And here's Harrison in the lead. Can he hold it? And looks like Oliveira comes with us, but Wexler, look at Oliveira challenging right away, going to the lead. Good grief, Anna. Wow, just bolting through like that. That's incredible. You got to take your hat off to her for that, and now we got a fight on our hands. As Diaz trying to catch up. I mean, that was just a brilliant maneuver there by Anna Oliveira, who then loses the spot. But Anna Oliveira of Windsor Racing now back to 3rd, where she belongs, I might say. And there's Diaz out ahead. And Harrison catching it. Okay, let's switch to high. Just for a bit here. Yeah, we're pulling out enough now. Let's go to medium. There we go. We're going to settle in here now. And because of the difference in, like, Diaz not using that second qualifying tire, I'm going to also have a little bit different pit stop strategy. Because I'm going to stagger them. I'm going to have her go in with the, get that second set of ultras, but I'm not going to do that for Harrison. So we'll see how that works. And of course, on a shorter track like this, there's probably going to be more lapping of people. There's probably going to be more traffic. But Harrison only at 4.2 and still pulling away from the rest of the field. They're using up their tires faster. He's 2.5 seconds up already. Diaz slowly accelerating away. So looking like a dominant performance, and the very early review from the other racers is that it's a good day for Scuderia, which also means a good day for us, as we would extend our lead to more than 200 points. And that would be pushing, but not quite to the 5-race early victory. So yeah, it's looking like another banner day for Hawkins GP. We'll want to watch the weather. It's going to get even cooler. My goodness. It's going to go down to 11, which, I mean, before this race, I believe 13 Celsius is the lowest that we've seen. And it's just miserable, stinking weather out there. So about 3 seconds ahead of Harrison, who is another 3 ahead of Wexler, who is another 3 ahead of Saarinen. So a nice spread out between the top 4. Saarinen, I believe, started 10th, if I'm not mistaken. And then, you know, up to 4th pretty quickly. So he's having himself a good day. And, you know, we're definitely rooting for Scuderia Rossini to pretty much hold their spots. Wexler being their top man. And yeah, if they can hold 3rd and 4th for us, that would be fantastic. Because it takes most of the points away from our primary competition. And the only way that matters really in terms of the LP is just to cut short the number of races I do on screen, because I'm going to go off screen at the point when we have totally locked it up. If the game doesn't let me end it early at that point, we will see what that does, as we've never clinched before the last race, and, well, it looks like we're going to here. You can see our tire temps getting low. We'll have to start pushing a little bit just to keep them, but I want to stay out as long as I can, just to build that gap between the rest of the field so that we don't have to fight with a bunch of traffic after the first tire change, first pit spot. And you can see, like, just the grip on the track, very low. It's increasing, but slowly. Diaz continuing to pull away, and I see no reason at all for her not to win this race. Going away, which would be, you know, her 2nd in a row, as we seem to alternate drivers winning 2 in a row. Harrison won, then Diaz won 2, then Harrison won 2, then Diaz won, and, you know, then here we are looking for a 2nd. As the laps go flying by, we're on lap 10, which is basically nicely getting started on this track. On a lot of tracks, that's a more significant point, but not here. And we are about half a lap now ahead of the last cars. Wait a little bit longer, and then I'm going to start pushing the tires a bit. We won't have many laps to do that with. I think Diaz is ready for that. Of course, when we do go to super softs, we will have to push them more. Harrison continuing to drive not all that great, and also continuing to pull away from the rest of the cars. So it looks like it's pretty even between how far it goes up on push and how quickly it goes down on the neutral setting in terms of our tire temps. Try to switch back to neutral now. I'll wait just a bit longer before doing that with Harrison. That should be about right. So I think I want to come in now with Diaz. Might be able to make one more lap around. Let's not push that. Let's come in, grab another set of ultras, and get back out there. And then Harrison probably could do back-to-back pit stops, but there's no need to. Harrison, you know what? You go ahead and push, and you come in the next time. Switching on to super softs. And you'll be able to take a longer run then at that point. So Diaz coming out in third. Did get passed by Wexler, but Wexler's tires are going to go away quickly. So let's hope that, basically the idea is I'm hoping he comes in and pits before I, yep, and there he's coming into the pits. So that's going to be good timing for me because we're not going to lose anything there. And here comes Harrison in soon. Oh, well, we're trying to get by him now anyway. You see those ultras just fading. There we go. And now Diaz is back up to first. Go and go neutral for a bit here on those tires, Roger. And how did Saarinen get ahead of us? That's weird. Wexler going into some used softs. What the world is he doing? The gap closed up some with that pit stop, but Harrison looking to get by Saarinen here potentially. He'll be out there for a little while. Haven't really gotten that close to him yet. And I think part of him is, you know, they're better in some of the corners with the wing situation. So, like, we're better at certain stretches of the track, and they're better at certain stretches. Saarinen driving much more aggressively right now and has much lower battery. So, I'm not really worried about hanging, excuse me, hanging behind him right now is not a big deal. You can see the track grip just going nowhere. A few more cars starting to come in, a lot of them staying out because they started on, of course, harder tire compounds than we did. And starting to get a little close here. Saarinen's tires are going to start going. I think I want to push. Just don't want to spend more time behind than I have to. And that turn is never kind to me compared to Saarinen. But yeah, we're staying close on him now. His tires are getting worse. Let's look for that opportunity to get by. And this is the part of the track it's probably going to happen in if it does. Did pretty well there. Again, he pulls away out at the end of it just a little bit. Then we catch back up, and not quite on his bumper, but we're close behind here. This turn is a little bit rough on our wing. And now Saarinen's going to come in. Looks like he's going to sort of mock all of our efforts to... Yeah, he almost got close enough there. There he goes. Okay, so much for that. Meanwhile, Diaz just sprinting away on her Ultras and needs to start pushing them now, actually. She will end up making another stop, though. So for Harrison, I think he's got this stint and one more. I think if that works out, then he'll want to come in around lap 40. I don't know if he'll make it that far on these tires, but if he does, then that's when we'll do it. And Diaz is going to probably have one more stop than him, so she's going to split this up. A couple shorter stints on the Super Softs. .7 only for Harrison. He's really not getting it done from a driving point of view. Was up to about 11 seconds, now about 10 seconds behind Diaz. Let's go hybrid for a bit here. Our first stint of the race. As we're starting to approach between a third and a halfway through now. And Diaz has already lapped a couple of cars. I didn't notice that. Flores and Moreno. There will be more. And probably lap the final cars in the race multiple times on this track. And that's probably about right to go back to neutral. Might be a bit soon. There's going to be so much traffic on this track, I'm honestly not going to try adjusting speed. At least not now to get through it. It's just going to be like, you know what, get through whenever you can. As Harrison starts working his way through some cars. But he is going to need a push for purpose of tire wear. And Diaz, you have one more lap to go. So you're going to come in after 29 laps. Yeah, you're definitely going to be making two stops on the Super Softs. Hoping to get about 18 laps out of each, give or take. Stop at about lap 47 the next time. So if you stop at 47 and Harrison stops at 50, if he makes it that far. Yeah, he's not going to, though. Tires are going too fast. So that means it's going to be a 3. He's going to stop just as many times. Just slightly different spots. So I actually think I want to keep him on push because I want him to come in before too much longer. I think I want to have him stop at 32 and 48. And what I'm doing there is just spreading them out. Like, instead of running 2 sets of tires down really low and then having the other tire, you know, only use about half of its decent wear, you know, I want to spread them all out so that it's more of an even balance between how much I'm wearing each set of tires. And so I might as well just leave him on push and have him use up the life in these since I want him to come in a little bit quicker. And for these kind of stints, I think I want to keep them in that middle sector in terms of the tire temperature so that they're not quite trying to use all the life of them. They're, you know, staying in that middle section and pushing a little bit more than I would if I was trying to get the max out of each tire set. Harrison in the lead for now, but he is going to come in now this lap and switch to a new tire. And this will also, of course, mark the halfway point of the race. With grip still at low, remarkably. Let's go back to neutral. And Harrison out in second. About 8 seconds now behind Diaz. Who puts Vidal a lap down, and that's 15 cars left on the lead lap. Vidal using a speed burst to try to make that up. Unlikely to work, I would say. And seems to have figured that out. And it's time for some more hybrid action. And we'll push for a bit here with Diaz. That temperature dropping. More at our weather, and it's going to stay at 11 for an extended stretch now. So again, just the coldest weather we have yet seen here in Cape Town. And that's really impacting the performance of the track. Surikoff going on ultras, sort of sticking out like a sore thumb there in 9th. Wexler is going to have to come in soon for a second pit stop, and is basically the only car within 20 seconds. And let's harvest for a bit more. You see the temperature not going up very fast on Diaz's tires here at all. Wants to make it through another 10 laps. And 11 for Harrison, who will start pushing soon. We've really got to put a lot of heat into the tires to... we may be stretching these tires close to their point, especially with Diaz. But it's worth it. You know, it's the right balance. Again, the super softs... I mean, using softs would have been ridiculous. We probably would have had to push on them the whole time to even try to hold temp. These are increasing their temp. They're just doing it really slowly. And maybe I have to drop her to neutral a bunch at the end. We'll see. Get a few more laps in here. Just track and see how much, what we're losing at push here. What are we losing per lap? We go 66 at the beginning of this 39th lap. Wexler pitting and doing repairs. That's not good news for us. We want him to finish high. Does come out on ultras. So yeah, even pushing, only losing 4% a lap. So getting through another 8 laps or so, not a problem. Yeah, so I think we can push the rest of the way. Actually, we're gonna push both drivers on their tires. I think we basically want Harrison to push for the whole stint. The last time he comes out. Maintaining just about, you know, with ups and downs with traffic, but maintaining about a 10-second gap now. Harrison continuing to have a subpar day. Diaz continuing to have a pretty good one. And she looks set to take the Drivers' Championship lead, which is currently in a tie, although Harrison, like, leads the tie or whatever. The Panther looking a little better than they were earlier. Scuderia Rossini not as good. But look at Van Dort Racing getting 10 of their 12 points on the season if they finish that up. So that would be a big result for them. Wouldn't improve their position at all. But obviously, you know, a lot more points than they've gotten the whole rest of the year up to this point. And let's go hybrid again. So far this race I've hit those marks just about when I wanted to. And we're doing pretty well. Just a few more laps until we start making our final stop. We're about at the 2/3 point now of the Cape Town GP. And no sign of any problems. 13 cars left on the lead lap. And the main pack is right ahead of Diaz here. So she's about to work her way through those, at least for a little bit. She's only going to have a few laps to do it, and then she's going to come in anyway. And fall behind them again before catching up to them again. But, I mean, at this point, it would not at all shock me if there's only, like, 4 to 6 cars on the lead lap. We'll have to see how that all works out. Diaz is going to make it without needing to back off her tires at all. And here she goes, lap 47. Let's make that final change. And then we'll ride with Harrison, who will go around for one more lap after this. You know what? You've got enough in your tires. Just go attack, just for the fun of it. I may end up doing that with him for a few laps at the very end of the race as well. I don't see it giving him enough to beat Diaz, but you know what? Make the most of what you have. And there's Harrison. He does turn in the fastest lap, and we want to go up to 48 here. Now you're going to make your stop. Diaz comes out in second. Does not even come close to falling behind the other cars. And then I want both drivers to be on push on the tires as much as they can during this last segment. Because we have the tires to do it, so why not? Diaz, there we go, makes the pass, and that's now 11 cars on the lead lap. With Holtz some ways up in front. That's not Holtz, is it? Well, there goes a pit stop. It's Vasquez. And the one I was talking about, though, was North. There we go. So we're down to 10 cars on the lead lap due to that pit. North is several seconds up. But, you know, the pack, as it were, has spread out. I mean, it's basically Gonzalez, Oliveira, Vasquez. That's the only... And it's only 3 cars, but there is no bunching of cars more than 3. So there's no huge concern here. And that's one of the things about this. The fact that all the challenges have taken place with the goal being win the championship. You know, there hasn't been a championship or a challenge that said, you know, what you need to do here is you need to finish 5th in the standings. You know, so we haven't had a lot of experience with middle of the pack racing, and when I do eventually get to the career mode, you know, I mean, that's a stage that we're going to have to go through, where in a lot of the races we're just not, you know, you generally start at the back and you work your way up into the pack, and then once you can challenge for wins, you're in business. But that won't all happen right away, so we'll have a lot of, the strategy decisions you make are much different in that sort of racing, where you don't have a realistic chance to win. You're just looking to pick up positions here and there when you can. You know, and if you finish in the top, you know, 7 or 8, you're feeling great about yourself. We had a little bit of that with Bobby Stone Jr., you know, in the, shall we call it the nepotism challenge, but not as a consistent thing for the whole team. Now we're going to go into harvest mode and do our last stretch to use up that last bit of extra fuel. And again, that fuel economy thing does not seem to be worth more than maybe a couple laps. So per usual, we're going to take this down to a lap and a half on the fuel, and then we'll run it out. Now Diaz now looking to pass Schmidt for 9th. And probably going to get Schmidt, North, and Sharp. Well, Wexler's going into the pits. We're going to get him too. Lipinen probably has to go into the pits. So we could lap everybody but the top 4. Sarnen and Chapman might be the only drivers we don't lap. That's the way it's looking right now. Schmidt here on Ultras providing a bit of a challenge. Not anymore though. You can see the tire temperatures going up some for both drivers, but not a huge amount. So that's holding well. And 8 laps are left. Starting to close in on another win for Hawkins. Whoop, got a little low there, 1.3. Let's definitely go hybrid there, hybrid here. Finish it out, make sure that we don't, and I still think we're going to have plenty of fuel with 8 laps left. We're just going to cut it a little closer, maybe about half a lap or so left in Diaz. Cutting it a little closer than we would probably like. Now I want to start thinking about, well, I don't really want to switch to attack on the tires because I'm going to be getting into temperature problems. So I think I just want to keep them at push. I think that's the best, going to be the best option for both drivers. Harrison now down to 7 seconds and change. There is a couple traffic cars between them, but here goes another lap down for Moreno. I think. So now we're going after North. And then Sharp ahead of that. Yeah, so I don't think we're going to get Sharp. We might get North. Probably going to get North and not Sharp. So that would be 5 cars on the lead lap. Either way, definitely the most dominant race we've had in that regard, but a lot of that has to do with it being a shorter track. didn't really have to push the engines at all, burn any extra fuel. So we are going to have some extra left over, but not a huge amount. I don't think I want to go down any more fuel for the next race. I think I want to just stay it right where it is. Minimal amount of buffer, but there is some. Here we are trying to get, and there's North. Oh, well, we had the pass on North and didn't keep it. See if we can get it again. Diaz now under a lap of fuel, just over for. I can really see in this mode, like she started out with 2 laps less fuel than Harrison. Harrison did have to burn his a hair more, but they're pretty much going to be equal, or actually she's going to have slightly more fuel than Harrison at the end. So there's the 3-lap marker. And it's going to be top 5 on the lead lap. That's pretty much set in stone now. Unless Chapman comes back in, but I don't think he will. And Harrison driving better now. About equally with Diaz, who has fallen off. You can see there's not going to be much left on the fuel at all, so we're not sitting on a bunch of extra here, because there's going to be less than a lap for each, and only about 20% in the battery. Honestly, I think that's cutting it a little bit too close. I think I'm going to go back up a lap. It's just, if we have to push for any significant amount of distance of the race, I want to be able to do that, and I can't if it's this tight. So I think I went 1 lap too low. Obviously, it worked for us here as we enter the final lap. We got between 2.5 extra laps of fuel. I just want to bump it back up 1 just to be safe, because being safe really is the key thing at this point with such a huge lead. You can see Panther, losing a bit of distance to Steinman. Scuderia having a good day, not as good day as it was. We're going to be just under the 200-point threshold on our lead. And there's the win for Diaz. And then Harrison in second. So, Hawkins dominating once more. The official halfway point of the season is coming up soon. The actual halfway point is already passed. We got one more race until we're officially halfway home. So, Harrison, at one point, almost 11 seconds, caught back up to 6. But that early part of the race, too much dominance from Diaz. She takes the win. So 6 seconds, 25 more to Chapman. A little bit ahead of Saarinen and Sharp, 10 seconds separating each of those. And yeah, 2 cars were 2 laps down, Woodford and Moreno. And then another 13, 1 lap down. So a 30-second win, give or take. 196 points, the lead for us. At the top, as we're running away with it, with Panther, Steinman, Catano, all reasonably bunched up together, and then a little bit further back to Scuderia. Bump back to Windsor. And Van Dort was looking good to get some points for a while, but they didn't do well at the end and didn't pick up any. Vittorio Diaz blew them all away. That's about the size of it. And we're at 100% here, 96% on the Bonnet relationship. So I'm going to take a look at our form. Overall, a 7 for Harrison, but he's been under 6 the last 2 races. The last 2 have been his worst of the year, so hopefully that's not going to be a permanent slump for him. Meanwhile, you know, at the beginning, Diaz had a couple races that are only decent. Has never been under 5. So that's interesting, and has been at 6.3 or better in now 5 straight races. Pretty consistent quality performance from her. Chairman happiness is still peaked, and our marketability continues to creep up slowly. We lose another 250K. Nothing to be done about that. Yes, the APS results. I just want to take a quick look at our sponsor situation. Yep, we've got one more race for Wonderluck, and then they start coming off the board. We get one more sponsor there. We'll get 2 more here, 2 more here. And I'm hoping, see, we got our sponsor appeal level up to 2. Now that's big, because we could get some better sponsors here at the end of the race. And that's, or end of the season rather. And that's going to be, you know, as we get about to the halfway point of the season and start turning in these new groups, that's going to be my sort of way to try to get our way out of this, you know, consistent downward thing here, is if we can get better sponsors, then, you know, make some more money and at least try to break even. If we break even, we're home free. We can maintain a small debt. I just don't want to, even a modest debt. I don't want to keep that going downward permanently. So anyway, that's where we are. Guildford is up next, the final race of the first half of the year. And I'll be back with that soon. Thanks for watching. More Motorsport Manager coming your way.